I used to struggle to get paid what I was worth until I implemented a proper sales system into my photography and videography company, Pieta Productions. And today I want to break down the full system here that I first started using in 2020 in my own company. And over the years, I've taught this to hundreds of coaching clients inside my education business, Creative Biz Launch. Now you can see my sales pipeline here on the screen, and I'm actually going to give you my CRM away for free in this video. So stay tuned to learn how you can get access to this. Over the next few minutes, I'll show you my exact sales pipeline, the stages that every single lead goes through before they become a paying client, how I systemize this process, and so much more. Now, one of the biggest problems I see before I start working with a coaching client is that they can't predict their revenue. And by following a sales system like this, my coaching clients can actually unlock predictable revenue in their photo or video business. So let's dive right in here. This is going to be a game changer for a lot of you guys here. So starting off with the engaged lead stage. So you can see there's a lot of stages here, everything from engaged lead to proposal sent. And this goes on for a while. So I want to break down every single stage to show you how you can start using a sales pipeline like this in your business. So this engaged lead stage, this is where someone enters your world. This is when someone first learns about who you are. Someone inquires on your website. They respond to a cold outreach attempt. They maybe comment on your social media post. They send you a DM. This is where the engaged leads go. Now, this process, this doesn't cover how to get leads. I have loads of videos on that if you're curious. This is just the sales process once someone wants your service. So when someone says, hey, I see what you do, I'm interested, that's where the sales process begins here. So engaged lead. Once they express interest, our goal is to get them on a call. So from engaged lead to booked call, this is pretty simple. We just propose the value of the call. We give them a few incentives to actually hop on the call. So what I like to do is I say, hey, on this call, I'd love to share some ideas that I have for your brand. Here's what we can go through. I want to dig into some problems and see if I can actually help you grow. Now, you're not trying to sell them on any service yet. On the call, that's where you're actually going to sell them on your service. On the call, you're going to learn about their problems, propose solutions, and from there, you're going to pitch them your service if it's a fit, because not everyone's going to be a fit for your company, but those who are a fit, you're going to send them a proposal, right? So after the call, they want a proposal to see what the process is of working with you. So you're going to send them a proposal. They move on to the needs proposal stage. You send them the proposal. They move into the proposal sent stage, and then you want to get that proposal signed, right? So far, this is a very simple process. Someone came to our world, they became an engaged lead. We booked a call with them. We had that sales call following a structure, a script. We sent them a proposal. We followed up until we got a response for that proposal, and they signed it. Awesome. From there, we want to onboard them. We want to have a prep call with them, production. I'm not going to cover the fulfillment side of this in this video. If you want more help on that, I've got a free community that teaches you all that stuff. So let's stick to the sales process. Now, inside the CRM, you can see that there's certain cards, and each of these cards has a different lead. So for example, let's go into Sun Teas. Now, all of these leads I made up. These are not real companies or email addresses. So in here, we can see Sun Teas. We have the contact name. So who at the company did we contact, who contacted us, their email, their phone number, the priority of this lead. So whether they're a high priority for us, low or medium. Next, we have the status, which we've already gone through a few of these, from engaged lead to proposal signed. We have the estimated value of the project. Now this one's going to be very important because it's going to allow you to predict revenue. So you always want to kind of estimate the value of the project. Now it's okay if you don't know the value at the start, because most of us don't know what our average project size is until we've got like 10 or 20 clients under our belt. Once you know your average project size, I just populate that here. And until you know that average project size, well, on the sales call, you can probably think of, you're going to pitch them some sort of project. So you'll have a good idea of how much value that lead is worth to you. So after that sales call, update this to reflect what you talked about on the sales call. And then you can have predictable revenue in your business, right? Next, we have the sales call date. So when you schedule a sales call, we want to put the date here so that we know when our sales call is, right? And I'll show you a calendar view here, actually, that kind of makes a lot of this easier and shows you where the sales calls are. Next, we want the lead source. So this is where we actually got the lead from. So did you get them from cold outreach? Were they an inbound lead? Were they a referral, right? Where did this person come into our world from? Next, we want to add their Instagram page just so we can see what they're currently doing from a marketing end, because we're going to want to talk about this during the discovery call. On that discovery call, we're going to dig into what they're doing from a marketing perspective right now and how we can tie into their overall game plan as a photographer or videographer. We want their website here so we can quickly access that. And then next task. Now this is something custom for my CRM. I'll explain what this is in a moment here. But with each card here, you have this entire section here that you can fill out with tasks, with background info for the call, any call notes that you have, any emails you have with this client, you want to put those into the CRM. Now for Suntees, our first task is actually to book a call with them. So if they're in the engage lead section, we want to book a call. That's the clear next step, right? We don't want to send them a proposal or send our rates over before that call. Our clear next step is to book a call. Now, this is a process I've used for so many years. I've taught this to hundreds of people, and now I'm teaching it to you as well. So this is a proven system. This works. It's the most effective system I found in my own business and the most effective system I've coached on as well. So I highly recommend just copy and pasting this into your own business if you're serious about actually building a profitable photo or video business. So after they're an engaged lead, our goal is to kind of book a call with them, right? So once we book that call, what we do is we check off this task and we add the next call, which is going to be to prep for the call. Now, once we check off a task, we want to change the lead status as well. So we want to make them booked call. So at this stage, you can see they moved to booked call. They moved from engaged lead to booked call. And now we have two people who are waiting to have the call with. So we have Suntees and Joe's Coffee here. So at a glance, when you look at this pipeline, the really nice thing is you know where everyone is at. So you can follow up with leads if you have to. You can prepare for them for calls. You can send proposals. Everything you need is organized inside a CRM like this. Now I mentioned I'm going to give you free access to this. So if you want this CRM, there's a link in the description to get into my free community. And inside the community, the CRM will be able to, you can unlock it once you get to level 3. So you unlock by being engaged in the community. It's free. You just have to post and show that you're serious about your business. So get in there, get the CRM and start using it today. Link in the description below for that. But yeah, here we're preparing for the call. And once we're after the call, the next step is to actually get a proposal from them. Okay. Or get a proposal to them. But before we do that, before we get that proposal to them, we need to have this call. So I alluded earlier to having like a sales script or a sales structure. In my community, I teach you kind of how to do that. But once you have that sales script, you can just plug that in here so you can read off of it during the call. You don't need it to be word for word. You just need like an overall sales conversation script, right? Because a sales conversation is very different from like a normal conversation you have. You really want to dig into their problems, propose solutions, stretch the gap so they feel like they really need you. And then when you tell them your offer, you map it back to all the problems that they told you. That's how a sales conversation flows. You pretty much figure out what their problems are, you propose solutions for those problems, you paint yourself as the perfect solution to those issues, either photos or videos, and then you talk about pricing, negotiate all that good stuff here. Now, after the call, you're going to drop in call notes here. So if you discussed certain packages that you want to pitch them, if you pitch them like a $2,000 package, but they actually wanted a much higher budget package, you would put that here so you remember to put that in your proposal. If you pitch them certain ideas, that's going to go in the call notes section as well, so you remember those when you're drafting the proposal. Literally every detail that you think you would need for, down the road, you put that here. And that's how you stick out as a creative, because this is a very competitive space. And the more you can show that you actually care about this client and are paying attention to what they're saying, the more likely that they're going to go with you. So always write down a lot of call notes when you're having sales calls with clients here. Next is the proposal process. So Suntees, we prepped for the call. We had the call, went great. Our next task here is going to be to send a proposal, right? So in this stage, we're going to add them to needs proposal. And here we're going to create a proposal for this client. So ideally you're using some sort of template like we have in Creative Biz Launch. But if you don't have a template, what you need in your proposal is some ideas for the client, an about us section, your process of working with you, your timeline, case studies, testimonials if you have them, portfolio pieces, your packages, and then a contract at the end so they can sign and complete that. So you're going to send that proposal the same day that you have a sales call. Don't wait till the next day. Don't wait till the next week. Send it the same day. Now, if you think that's hard, it is. But that's how you actually land high-paying clients. High-paying clients care about speed. This is a big mistake that creators make. They think they can wait forever to send their proposal, but business owners, which is what you're working with. You're working with business owners, right? I'm guessing you're a product photographer, a brand videographer, maybe you're working with an event company, you're shooting events, whatever it is, you're working with businesses, and business owners care about speed. So send that proposal on the same day that you have a sales call, because that's going to show them how you're going to be during the entire process. Your speed at which you send this proposal is a direct reflection of how fast you're going to turn around the photos, the videos, everything that you're working with here. So just get started on the right foot. Okay, so you sent that proposal out. The next step here is to follow up. Okay, so after a proposal goes out, follow up is going to be the biggest thing you can do. So you're going to follow up until you get a yes or a no. That's what I do, and that's what I usually recommend. Now, on your sales call, you should discuss when you should know like when they expect to get back to you on the proposal. So end the sales call by asking, hey, when do you think I'll hear back on the proposal? And they'll tell you, oh, on Friday, we're meeting with our team, and that's when we're going to discuss this proposal. Okay, cool. So on Monday, you're going to set a task to follow up with this lead. So this is where the next task tab is useful for. So let's say, what day is it today? It's November. Okay, I'm lost. November 7th today. So let's say they said they were going to meet with their team on the 8th. So you're going to set a task for Monday to actually follow up with them. And there's a view in this CRM here. So this is all the tasks that are due. So you can see on November 11th, there's a task here that you should follow up. So every single day, I actually recommend going to the task view so you know what you should be doing in your business. Now you can see all these other tasks from other leads, which is great. You know what you should be doing. So every time you actually complete a task, so let's go back to Suntees here. Every time you complete a task, you want to add in another task. So once you follow up with them, they're not going to respond right away. So you're just going to put in follow up so you know to follow up again if they don't respond. So we'll just do the follow up task again for like 5 days after that. And then we know to follow up with them. Cool. All right. So let's say Suntees, we follow up with them on November 15th. They're like, okay, awesome. Let's move forward with this. They sign that proposal. This should be in the proposal sent stage. My bad. But they signed that proposal. Awesome. So once they sign that proposal, that's kind of where the sales process ends, right? So they sign that proposal, they become a client of yours. Right now, they're a client. They're paying you to actually do work. It's great. Now you want to fulfill on your promise, and that's kind of where this process ends. The sales process ends once you get that proposal, but the onboarding process, the fulfillment process, I would argue is more important than the sales process, because once you sign a client, that's the hardest part. Keeping them is a little bit easier here, because if you can have a really good customer experience, you can take a $2,000 client and turn them into a $20,000 lifetime value if you have a great customer experience, if you know how to pitch retainer packages properly. Over years of working with a client, they could become a multi-five-figure client in your business, which is really cool. I'm not going to cover the whole fulfillment pipeline here. We have other trainings on the channel and the free community on that. But I want to show you a few other things in the CRM. So earlier I mentioned that we can actually predict our revenue. So how can we predict our revenue? Well, the more outreach that we do, the more content that we post, the more inquiries we're going to get more and more engaged leads here. So whenever we get like an inquiry on our website, we'll just hit this. We'll go John's Matcha, just making up a name here. Just John. So we're adding the contact info of John here, right? John@matcha.com, just making this up. And once you add all these, you'll see like you have this card here. You'll have a task associated with them already, the schedule a sales call. So your goal is going to be to schedule that sales call with John. Now you're going to have lots and lots of leads like this in your business. So you're going to have a full sales pipeline, hopefully. And with each lead, you're going to have like a number associated with them, right? So you'll see in each category how much value there is. And you can assume that you're going to close about 1 out of 3 clients. Like that's a pretty normal close rate if you're following like a proper sales script and all that stuff. If you're following up, 1 out of 3 clients is a fine close rate. Anything over 50% close rate is actually a bad thing, because that means you're not charging enough. So if you're closing every single client you have on a call with, you have to raise your rates, right? You want to raise your rates. You shouldn't be closing every single person. You want to aim for about a 40 to 50% close rate. That's ideal. If you're doing 30%, that's fine, but you want to up those numbers a bit here. But if you want just a quick glance to predict revenue, you can just do 30%. So you would add up everyone here. Maybe you see like there's $21,000 of projected revenue in your pipeline. do some quick math. That means you're going to get $7,000 of that in your pipeline. It's pretty cool how you can like predict revenue once you have something like this flowing. So a few more views here. We already talked about the task view. So this is all the tasks that are in your business that you have to be doing. You see the current client view. So this is actually the current clients you're working with. So everyone who's signed a proposal gets into this category. We have a sales call calendar. So let's go back to August when this was first made. You can see the sales calls on each and every day. So it's a useful view if you're trying to plan your week out. You can see when you have sales calls for the week, so you know how much you have to prepare for them. And lastly, I have a view here that's like all records. So this is everyone in your business at the moment. And yeah, that's the sales process at a glance here. Now, following a system like this is, I think, a requirement as a creative professional. We do sales calls because we're trying to sell higher ticket packages. Now, if you're selling something for like $200 and that's your package size, don't worry about doing a sales process. You're not charging enough to actually warrant this. Now, if you implemented this, you could probably triple your rates right away on those sales calls, right? You can have sales calls actually where you showcase your value to the client, showcase that you're the expert in the field here. And if you do that, you can charge way more. That's why we have the sales call process, because what I teach to all of my coaching clients is to sell high ticket packages. So between $2,000 and $5,000. And in order to sell packages at that level, because that's what I do, in order to sell packages at that level, we need those sales calls, because on the sales calls, we demonstrate that we're the expert, that we know what we're doing, that we can actually help the client achieve their goals. We demonstrate our ROI, so what their return on investment can be with us. We'll showcase case studies of other clients that we've helped in the past. We'll really dig into their problems, share ideas with them for both photos and videos and how that plays into their marketing plan. And there we're going to offer our services. And you can't do that over email. It's hard to build up that trust over email or like text. So that's why we do calls. It's so you can charge more, to make more, to actually have a sustainable business model. If someone's telling you don't do sales calls, well, that's fine, but you're going to make less money and it's going to be a lot more stressful long term. So that's the sales system at a very quick glance here. It's really simple. There's just really a few stages that people go through. They become an engaged lead. Once they enter your world, they book a call with you. They need a proposal from you. You send that proposal, and then the proposal gets signed. And that's what every single lead follows inside my business. It's why I teach in my community. But the hard part is actually getting leads into the system. So if you need help with that, join my free community. Link down below. We have loads of trainings on that. There's a 3-hour masterclass in there that you get access for free. Plus you get access to the CRM inside that community once you get to level 3. So yeah, I will see you in the next video and see you in the community.